Thank you, Commissioner Sue. At this time, we are going to participate in a quiz event by Chairman Stephen Goldstein, who will come up to the podium now and to speak a little bit about that. Mr. Goldstein.
Hi everyone, how are ya? So my name is Steven and I run an organization called Guardians to Equality, and we work for civil rights, and we actually work for students to make sure that every one of you is free of bullying. So you see little pamphlets that you got on the chairs? If you are ever in need, you can call us at any time. You or your parents or your brothers or your sisters or your aunts or your uncles, and we will be there for you. You know who else will be there for you? Your people in politics who represent you. So, Valerie Veneri Huddle, she wrote this law, but so did a couple of other politicians. Now they're in Trenton, they're working really hard today trying to make your lives better. But representing Senator Loretta Weinberg is the really wonderful Debbie Francisca, her chief of staff. And how lucky are we that we also have the chief of staff for Assemblyman Gordon Johnson, Vermery Roy. And you know who wrote this law with Valerie Veneri Huddle? A really great, smart lawyer named Luann Peter Paul, who is really cool. So Luann, will you stand up? And aside from having a fantastic state education commissioner in Chris Cerf, he's a really cool guy, don't you think? I think he's cool. Yeah, right? So aside from him, you have an awesome principal. I would say she's the best in the state, but I gotta love all the principals I work with. So we'll say nobody's better than Angela Davis, your wonderful principal. You must be doing something right, Ms. Davis. That's kind of cool, to be honest with you. And the staff and the students here are pretty awesome. And it's not every day that we have the superintendent of the schools who cares so much. She's here, Barbara Pinsack, our superintendent. Yeah. So, I happen to live in Teaneck. I'm from Teaneck, and so I live across the street from the Lowell School. Who went to the Lowell School? So, it's such a cool school, isn't it? Yeah. I go there like every June and every November to vote. It's a great school right across the street. So listen, we're going to play a game now, right? This is not the kind of quiz where we're going to give you grades and get you tested and all that. We're just going to have fun now, okay? Okay, so now, I feel like I'm going to be a game show host on television, okay? So, I need 3 students. My whole life, I wanted to be Bob Barker, and now I'm dating myself. What? Oh, did we pick? You tell me, Principal Davis. But you're welcome for dinner at my house. I didn't know. Listen, will you invite us back so we can play games again? What's your name? What's your name? Hey, welcome. Okay, now, Commissioner Cerf, will you join them? Assemblywoman Huddle, will you join them? And we're doing this twice. Is he coming up this way? I think our distinguished Deputy Superintendent's coming up for our next game. We have a lot of games. We have 2 games. Okay, so, Sue, This is so much fun. So, Sue, here's our first question, everyone. So, you can all discuss among yourselves in a team. Okay, so go over there. All of you be together so you can all talk among yourselves. Awesome. So, first, here's what we're going to do. We're going to read the question, and then we're going to ask all of you to say what you think the answer is out loud, and then we're going to ask them. This way you get to all participate, okay? So let me ask you, if your teacher or another bullied student at school sees you being bullied, when do they have to tell the principal? The same day, within 1 week, within 1 month? What do you all say? Okay, I believe you, but here's the thing. Now, do you agree? Is it A? All right. I have to finally read this, I know. Okay, do you agree? Okay, next one, Sue. Awesome. Okay, 2, we're going to have our group of 6 do this one first. So don't cheat, don't help them. Once the principal hears you are being bullied, when does the school have to start investigating, looking into the incident? The next day, within 1 week, within 1 month? What do you all say? They say A. What do you say? Sue? Okay, they were right. When the principal hears you're being bullied, the school must investigate the next day. This is a really, really tough law. If you bully somebody else, you can get in trouble. Sue, question 3. Oh my God, this is getting tough now. When must the school complete its investigation looking into what the problem was and take action? Who says A? Raise your hand. Who says B? Who says C? What do you all say? Okay. Now I have a question. I'm getting a little nervous about this one because I hope the school does it. Where must the school post its anti-bullying policies where it tells you all about bullying? Let's have the students and the commissioner and the assemblyman. They have to put it in the post office, which is on Palisade Avenue, in the school cafeteria, or on the website on the homepage. Who says C? Go, number 5. Valerie?
I just want to mention about C, posting on the website. There will be report cards issued, and I just asked the commissioner to make sure that when Thomas Jefferson posts all of those wonderful things on the website, I would hope that Commissioner Thomas Jefferson gets an A on their report card for anti-bullying. So keep that in mind. Report cards are coming out of the schools. Let's hope we get an A here at Thomas Jefferson, which I think we're on our way to getting an A+.
And you know who works with Valerie Beneri Huddle to make sure that everything is done right? Our Chief of Staff, Andrea Katz. Andrea, stand up. Thank you, Andrea. Question 5. Oh my, this is real important. So we're going to go to the audience first. Does a school have to tell a bully's parents about the bullying? Okay. Oh. Oh. Okay, does anybody think it's me? Does anybody think that it's C? What do you all think? So, true or false? Oh my God, can you believe this? School? Schools, we give report cards. Not just you, schools, on how well they stop bullying. You think it's true? I'm Steve. So, here's a really, everyone, can I just, I want to point your attention to this. This is really,
Can you hear us?
okay, the microphone is bullying me, right?
Steve was being bullied, so we told the principal, now he has another microphone.
Thank you. Yeah. Everybody, you know that this law applies to bullying in schools, if you're bullied in schools. Well, what happens if another student bullies you in a bus stop? Does this law apply, do you think? We only have 3 more. How many of you use computers? Now, how many of you use Facebook? I think you have to be older. My parents wouldn't let me use Facebook because they didn't have it, but so I have a question. What if another student bullies you online and says mean things to you constantly and makes fun of you to other students who are online? Does the new law apply? 2 more. They're all brilliant. Okay, now, okay, I know how to handle this one. Are they okay with it, Sue? We're okay? Okay. So, I have a question. Can you listen up for a second? Now, students are bullied for many, many, many reasons. You know, the number one reason I was bullied as a kid is I was short. Okay, how many of you have been bullied because you're short? Do you know why else I was bullied? Because I wore clothes that other kids didn't like, right? And so when I was your age, my pants were too short. So they used to call them high waters. Right? And you used to see like my really gross legs, right? Okay. Now, do you know that I used to get beaten up for this? Now, you know that kids are really mean to each other for a whole number of reasons. Kids bully one another, unfortunately, because they maybe have a different religion, a different culture, a different race, a different gender, or okay, so students bully one another for all different reasons. some students, I don't know, sometimes girls are attracted to girls, sometimes boys are attracted to boys. Hey, but here's the moral of the story. Hey, everybody, listen. I appreciate your honesty, but here's the moral of the story. We respect one another of every kind of person that they are, right? Okay, so if somebody is of a different religion, we respect them, right? And if somebody is of a different race, we respect them, right? Exactly. And if somebody is taller or shorter, we respect them, right? Okay, so we respect somebody for whatever reason. So here's the question. Do you think the new law applies to all kids bullied for any reason? Go on to the next one. Go to 10. Now, what should you do if you're bullied and your school is not taking the law seriously? Now, we know this won't be a problem in Thomas Jefferson because it's a great school. It's an amazing school. But, you know, if it ever happens, what do you think? You all get a grade A. Ms. Davis? Everybody, another game. Please help me welcome Shannon Berg, our anti-bullying director at Barnstable Park.
Okay, the game is called What Would You Do? And the first thing I'm going to do is call up some of our important leaders within the school and within the community to help us out. So can I call up Principal Angela Davis? And can I call up Assistant Superintendent Vincent McHale? From the students too. So I don't know if there's already 3 selected or okay, so can I have the 3 or however many students were selected for this activity to please come up? Okay. Representing. Okay, great. And one more, come on up. And you can join Luann Peter Paul, please. You're going to be working with her. And come on over here. What's your name? And what grade are you representing? 8th grade. Okay, great. Now here's what the activity is. You're all partnered up. And what I'm going to do is give you a bullying situation. Now, I have heard a lot of real-life, everyday type events, and that's what these are based on. And when I give you these scenarios, I want you to think, and I want you in the audience to think too, of 3 things. I want you to think of how you can help the student immediately, how you can help your classmate support them after the incident throughout the year, And thirdly, I want you to think about how you can address the issue throughout the whole school so no one else will be bullied for that reason. So let me grab my scenarios. Okay, the first one is going to be for Principal Davis. And that is, a male student is being made fun of for wearing a pink shirt. So, I want you to think about it in the audience too. How could you support another student who's being made fun of for something that he's wearing? You can come on over too. And do you have an idea of how you would help the student?
Well, one of the things that you know that I do is I have an individual conversation with the student to see what the issue is, and just remind them that it is important for them to stand up for who they are and for what they believe in. And it is more than fine to come to school or in the community to wear a pink shirt. And also, I would probably, the students who have an issue with it, have a conversation with them also, separating the person who feels like maybe they're being harassed or intimidated, just so they understand that one day they may be wearing a pink shirt or a blue shirt or a green shirt or a polka dotted shirt or whatever color shirt it may be, and somebody may have issue with it. So it's important for us to stand up for who we are, what we know we are, and be unafraid to move forward and share who we are with others.
Well, she took exactly what I was going to say, but I guess that they should just not listen to what the bully says and express their style in their own way.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So the next one is regarding state equality. We had Peter, Paul, and Brian. Okay, the next one that I want you to think about is that each day, when a student sits down at the table at a cafeteria, another clique of students, one by one, take every chair away from that student's table, leaving the student completely alone. Now, I want you to think about how you could help that student immediately, but also how you could continue to support that student. Let's see, do we have some answers?
Well, first I'll go over to them and ask them what's wrong. And then after that, I will sit with them and comfort them and then become their friends.
I think that's a great example of how you can support one another and how you can stop bullying from happening by being there for one another. Good job, Brian. Thank you. And now, Mr. McHale. All right. Let's see if any of you have ever experienced this or seen this. During class, a classmate is consistently mocking and making fun of another student for his accent every time that he shares in class or asks a question, and he's starting to feel like he doesn't want to speak anymore. How do you think you could help this student?
I would say that it's not, I would tell the person who's being mean to them that it's not right and that it's wrong and that they shouldn't make fun of them because everyone talks a different way.
I think that's a great response, and it might be also helpful to remind the student who's having who's the bully in this situation that person who's speaking in an accent speaks more than one language, and maybe the person who's the bully only speaks one. And how great is it that that student has mastered not one, but two, and maybe more than two languages.
Thank you very much. Now I have another one for Principal Davis. Okay. A girl is being harassed by an upperclassman or someone who's older than her at her locker every day. and he's touching her, and he's making inappropriate comments that are making her uncomfortable. How can we support this student and protect her?
Now I know we know better to listen.
I would, if I were her, I would tell her to go to the guidance counselor and discuss her issue, and also try to avoid the person as much as possible. And yeah.
That's very good. Very good. I think it's also important to remind that student that they are not doing anything wrong. They have the right to be at their locker. They have a right to either put their books in their locker, take them out, or if it's in the gymnasium or what have you, if you're changing for physical education. And I would also say that it's important for us to talk to that young man who is harassing the young lady, and just talk about the appropriateness of their choices and respect for young ladies, and as well as respect of themselves. And just as importantly, remember what they're being taught at home. Oftentimes, when you come to school or in the community, you always, always, always represent your home, and you know the difference between right and wrong. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that's great because our student identified also that it's important to know who to go to for help in your school, and who to help your other classmates if they're having a problem. Identify who they can go to for help and assistance. So the next two pairs come up together because I only have one left. And this last what would you do scenario is that in the locker room during phys ed or after phys ed, a group of students are picking on another student for not performing well at phys ed. And that student, right in front of that student, and making that student feel very bad. How do you think you could help that student?
I would find out who was doing it, and then I would tell the person to go tell the guidance counselor or the principal or even the phys ed teacher that they're being bothered by other students.
Thank you. That's great. We're identifying people who can help.
I'm just thrilled that Brian is able to identify himself as an upstander, and can anybody else in this crowd do the same thing? Because sometimes it's not very easy to do. So thank you, Brian.
I would tell the bullies that maybe that person just doesn't like that activity that we're doing in phys ed, and maybe they can do better in another one. And maybe the person who's being mean didn't do as well either. So
That's great. Yeah, everybody has their different strengths and different challenges, and that's important to remember.
I would just echo the comments that have already been made, and perhaps I would hope that that students would realize that if you've had fun, then you've already won. So in the phys ed class, if they've had fun at the activity, it doesn't mean that they had to be the best at it, but they were a winner because they tried their best and they had fun while doing it. And I also like the comment that our student made, that you could point out the great things that student might do outside of phys ed. Maybe they're a wonderful musician, or maybe they're an amazing artist, or maybe they're a student who is really gifted in vocal music or instrumental music, and point out those great things and great qualities that the student has.
Thank you very much. I want to give a big round of applause for our adult leaders who have helped with this and our students who helped with this activity. I want to remind you that I've just given them a few seconds to think about this, but I want you all to continue to think about these type of situations and some of your own that you've experienced, and to talk about these with your classmates and with your parents and with your teachers. Thank you.